Thinking about Spanish citizenship? Be careful. There are a lot of myths that could waste your time and money. In this video, we're exposing the biggest misconceptions and revealing what really works. Silvia, as our expert lawyer, I have to ask you a very black and white, straightforward question. By the Spanish law, does Spain allow dual citizenship with the United States?
I have to be very, very straight to that question and answer you no. That may be scare someone, but it has an explanation, and in the practice, it's not that way.
Okay, so where did this narrative come from that Americans have to give up their US citizenship? People online are like, no, I know someone that has an American passport and they've just gotten a Spanish passport. Like, what is this?
Well, the thing is that the nationality, it's rule for the country, and it has the local laws that says who is Spanish citizen, how you acquire Spanish citizenship, how you can lose Spanish citizenship, how can you recover Spanish citizenship. And in our country, our law says that with all the countries that we don't have a dual citizenship agreement, an individual who is not part of one of those countries that we have those agreements, in the acquisition, when they obtain Spanish citizenship, the process of doing the oath to the Spanish citizenship, they have to express clearly that they renounce to their citizenship, the principal one. That's a formality that is asked by our law. The issue here is that Spain as a country has no legitimacy to get out your principal citizenship. I understand that United States doesn't take away because they allow to have more than one citizenship, more than the American one. But in Spain, it's not that. You have to express it. And it comes in a document. It comes clearly expressed. But Spain cannot take out your citizenship because it has no jurisdiction. Okay? So in the practice, you hold both. You hold two passports. You're still keeping your American passport, and you will have also a Spanish passport.
And up to now, has Spain been checking to make sure that Americans have relinquished their US citizenship?
No, it doesn't work that way. We don't know yet if in the future, with all big data and everything, if it's going to be more interconnect, but it's more between agreement between countries and governments. And right now that doesn't exist. But we don't know yet if that is ever going to exist, that possibility in the future. We never know with the laws because it's something that it's alive, but it's never been in the past. So it's quite not sure that tomorrow is going to be like that, you know. But right now it doesn't work that way. Not even with the American passport, but with other citizenships also.
Yeah, this is what I wanted to ask you and clarify. So, do you know of an instance where Spain, the government, has checked on a citizen of another country to see if they have relinquished their citizenship? So, not maybe checking on Americans, but checking on another country maybe that doesn't have the same passport strength, let's say, of the United States.
No, Spain doesn't check, but it's the own country of the principal nationality that maybe in their law they ask for the individual, and if they know that they have a dual citizenship and their local laws doesn't allow them, it can come forward that they force the individual to renounce to the principal citizenship, because if in their law it says that you lose your principal citizenship because you voluntarily acquire a secondary one, then that happens. Okay? Spain is not going after or required to demonstrate that you did renounce to obtain a Spanish passport.
So that sounds very clear. As you rightly said, in the Spanish law, it is not allowed, but they aren't going and checking at the moment. So I wanted to ask if there's a law about what the penalty is if you say you have renounced your citizenship and you have not, and then they catch you. Is there a certain penalty?
No, it doesn't exist. We have something in our law. When you acquire the Spanish citizenship, there is two ways of acquire. One is because of the bloodline. It's how normally Spanish
Hmm.
people are getting our citizenship. It's because our parents or any of our parents is Spanish citizen. But when we are talking about an individual that has become a legal resident here in Spain, and after a period of time, it's deciding to apply for the Spanish citizenship, then it's not bloodline. It's because they are asking, no, to the government, because you are fulfilling a list of requirements. Okay,
Yes.
so it's not a right, it's something that you asked, and the
Okay.
government, if you fulfill the requirements, they will process it and give it to you. Okay, as it's voluntary applying for, if you are not using it in a certain period of time, or once you become Spanish citizen. Okay, if you are going to enlist yourself in another country army, there is a set of cases where you can lose what you obtained. If you are living in Spain and you are getting the Spanish citizenship, here in Spain you are Spanish, so you have to get your passport valid. You are not longer immigrant anymore, but you are not you still link it with your principal country, so you also
Mhm.
have to keep your principal passport also valid. And with all the communications, everything that you have to do with the other country administration, you need to use that principal citizenship. But with everything relating Spain, you use your Spanish passport.
And if
Okay.
someone is wanting to obtain a Spanish passport by residency, how long does this process take?
By law, it says that the processing time, okay, from start to end, since you apply officially until the result is coming, it's set in 1 year. That's what it says. In the practice, sometimes it comes earlier, and sometimes that year extends a little bit. It depends on how busy the administration is to study all those files, because it has like high demand in several points of the year, and sometimes
Yes.
get a little bit more delayed in the time. To be clear, and in current times, a realistic time will be 1 year and a half, more or less 2 years currently. We expect that those times will shorten up as long as they are also introducing some technology to help them out to resolve and study all the documents that are submitted.
And as I understand it, people that have nationality from another Spanish speaking country, they only need 2 years of residency to be eligible to apply. What about those that are not from one of those countries?
The general period of time of residency to apply for Spanish citizenship is 10 years
Okay.
of legal residency. Always previous needs to be continued and
Hmm.
previous to the application. And it's 10 years. That's the general for everyone. But we have also few exceptions. That time gets shortened. And in case that you hold a passport, and I will explain a little bit why I'm making this distinction, that you hold a passport from Hispano-American origin, or that we have agreement of dual citizenship, that temporal term goes shortens to 2 years only of
Hmm.
legal residency. And there is even a shorter period of 1 year of legal residency to apply when you are married with a Spanish
Hmm.
citizen. And then I'm going to explain a little bit about the 2 years, okay? And why I made the distinction of holding a Hispano-American passport or any of their passports that we have agreement, like Portuguese, Philippines, Andorra, and Equatorial Guinea. The time for them is only 2 years. Imagine that you are American citizen, but you also hold Mexican passport. Well, you don't have to wait 10 years. You can do it in 2 years, because
Okay.
that is respected, that you have two passports. And as you are holding one that we have agreed with, even that you obtain the legal residency here in Spain with the American passport, you can benefit using the Mexican passport to reduce the time. Not only reduce the time, but also to avoid the Spanish exam needs to be done
Ah,
for those
okay.
that they come from a country where Spanish is not the official language. Okay.
Okay. All right. That makes perfect sense. Well, then I need to ask you, what are some of the perks for having a Spanish passport?
Well, first, to becoming a citizen of a very nice country where you have security, good weather, good people, and then you have all Europe also. We belong to a European region We have a status as European citizens that we can freely move and establish ourselves in any of other European countries. So you have a big piece of land where you can also settle yourself for work or to build up a business. Everything is more easy. Secondly, in my opinion, and this is a personal opinion, we all know that for many years, we are been witnessing and living in ourselves that world is quite busy and getting very complex, no? The complexity of the politics and everything. So I'm in the opinion that as much passports as you hold, the better chances you have if ever something happens and you have to settle up in some other countries. Spain has agreements and is open to all Latin American, where we also have dual agreements, with countries of that region that opens a little bit up the chance of moving abroad and the requirements that other countries ask us for Spanish people to settle in their own countries also.
That's an amazing point you bring up about the option, once you're a Spanish citizen, to be able to get into another Spanish-speaking country if anything were to happen where you would want to consider leaving Spain, because you're right, it is a fantastic place. I have a curiosity about taxes. Does becoming a Spanish citizen change anything from a tax perspective? Are there any benefits or drawbacks?
That's not a field of my expertise, I may say. When you become a Spanish citizen and you are living in Spain, because you know that there is some forums, no, in order to where do you pay your taxes and everything. But here, our system, when you are becoming Spanish and living in our country during a certain periods of time, you have to submit your taxes here. And those taxes are paid for all the capital that you have worldwide. Of course, if you are a North American citizen, there is dual agreement also of taxes, so you don't pay double taxes. If you have to pay them here, you have to communicate your administration that you already paid them, so everything gets set up. It doesn't work the same as I know that it works in North America, where the tax administration follows you up wherever you go. It doesn't matter where, because that's how also they retain and have the jurisdiction over their own citizens, okay? In Spain, it's not that. Tax rules, you normally pay taxes where you live, where you spend more than 182 days in a natural year. When that doesn't match, it goes then to the second forum. Meet your taxes where you have your incomes, your principal incomes in case of work, or where your family is, if you are married or you have your kids and everything. So that's the secondly. After that, it comes more other forums. And the last one is the citizenship. So when none of the above applies, then you submit your taxes in your country.
I wanted to ask you, are there any other concerns or considerations that Americans or other nationalities should have when obtaining Spanish citizenship?
Well, that they have to use it. One of the things to gain a passport when it's something that you really want to, either for practical reasons or because of sentimental or emotional reasons, is that you have to use it. You need to be conscious that you gain very special status. Not because if it's Spanish, it's because of citizenship. Citizenship is the link that a citizen has with his country. That goes more, gives you rights, and also somehow gives you obligations, no? So you can also participate building up that society that you decide to become a part of. So the thing is to use it, even when you move back to your principal country, even if you decide to move to a different country, you don't have to forget that you are a Spanish citizen. So You go to the Spanish consulate to register yourself as a Spanish citizen so you can participate in voting. You can also collaborate with the administration, with the Spanish administration, or ask and use the services that the Spanish administration provides. Okay? So one of the things that I always say is don't forget that you have that. Okay, don't keep it in a wardrobe, and remember that you have Spanish passport because you need to take a flight. No, it goes further than that.
That's a beautiful thought. I really like that. And I wanted to know, as an immigration lawyer, what are common questions that clients ask you that maybe I haven't asked here that I'm just blind of?
What they normally ask me when already passed through them is what's the processing times that it takes, if they have to be here while they are waiting for the process. And the answer is that you have to fulfill the requirements at the moment that it's officially submitted. That it's when everything needs to be set up and all the requirements done. After that, people has lives. They have to move. Sometimes the company transfer them to other part of Europe or the world. That keeps going on. The thing is that don't forget that you obtain the Spanish citizenship through a legal residency that needs to be previous. I recommend to keep it updated and valid. Okay, because after the process of citizenship, it comes the time to oath the Spanish citizenship. Okay, that is when you officially and formally obtain the Spanish citizenship. But after that, it takes a little bit of time to obtain the documents. Okay, that shows that you are, for a third party, that you have Spanish citizenship, that it's the passport and the Spanish ID. It doesn't come from one day to the other. It takes a little bit of period of time. It's nice to take that into account in order that you have to coordinate to come back to Spain or to be here to renew your residency permit, because you don't forget your residency permit, okay, the legal residency, while the Spanish citizenship is processing. Those are parallel. Okay, you don't have to
Yes.
forget about the legal residency. That it's important. Okay, and we have several status of residency that normally matches, the needs of each individual of coming to Spain and settle here in Spain in order to work or to build up a business or just digitally work or coming with no need of working to study. Well, there is several. Secondly, that it's very important, when you are a student, you are not a resident. Okay, you are
Okay.
in a regime of stay. The period of time that you are here as a student doesn't count for a Spanish citizenship. That is quite important. Okay.
Okay.
Only when it's changed the status of stay as a student to residency is when it starts counting.
Email us at info@expatseverywhere.com to get in touch with Silvia or someone on her team. Now that you know about dual citizenship, check out this video right here that outlines 7 key steps on how to move to Spain. Now, let's get moving. Bye.